As you were. Get to the lab, assess the situation, and ensure Hilda returns here safely. If she's unwilling to return, convince her otherwise. She, and Mr. Stoltz for that matter, may believe her research takes priority over her safety. With our current numbers, that isn't a risk worth taking. With the tram tunnels collapsed, you should still be able to access organics from a cave nearby, used as a sort of ventilation system. If Hilda was able to make it there, I imagine you won't have too much trouble. But I'll provide a security key, just in case. Be prepared for the worst. I look forward to your return. Undetermined. Hilda is the only one left who could have triggered the emergency signal, so we know she was there and alive not long ago. As you'll see, her research was unconventional and involved studies of the lost. If something happened there, it's likely dangerous. Please don't take too long. Time is of the essence. Now that you've proven yourself useful, I have a sensitive situation that could use some in-person problem-solving. The emergency alert in the organics sector has been triggered, something that requires proper authorization to do. As I understand it, the lab's head researcher, Hilda Stoltz, headed there not too long ago. I believe you're acquainted. It would appear she's gotten herself into danger. It's unlikely she'd seek outside meddling if it wasn't something serious. You're back. Were you able to secure Hilda safely? I cannot stress enough the importance of this. You're serious? And you have proof? Are you sure? Look at me. Are you sure? If you're ready, I'd like to brief you on a highly classified matter. Not quite. When I signed on with Mr. Stoltz, I made it clear where my allegiances lie. He did not seem concerned with this. Whether or not he realized that I would maintain those allegiances long after the world came crashing down, well, that's not my concern. Damn it. Daniel was a good man. But I'm relieved to hear his death wasn't in vain. Thank you for completing his work. Not long ago, I dispatched a member of my team to pass along my findings to a drop site I've been using over the years. Unfortunately, he has failed to return, and I fear the worst. Daniel is a good man. It's important we bring him home, if still possible. There's also the matter of the report, and whether or not it had been passed along, or potentially fallen into the wrong hands. You're back. And without Daniel. What was the situation? I've been spread thin dealing with surface-side security concerns. My more menial tasks have started to slip through the cracks, however. I can tell you're equipped to handle much worse, but tackling some issues from my backlog would be of great service to me, at least as a start. There are 3 in particular who often bring up issues to me. You can start there. Your assignment does not require knowledge of the vault beyond the immediate area. You will find adequate signage for familiarizing yourself with the premises. Perhaps later, if you prove capable, we can talk in more detail. So, Mr. Stoltz informs me that you're officially being brought on board. That's fine. We can always use another pair of hands. That said, while your help is welcome, my trust isn't handed out so easily. In my line of work, caution is a must. My top priority is the safety of this vault's residents. Those left, that is. I'm not eager to entrust a wandering vagabond with their well-being. However, with the situation on the surface as it is, I have been struggling to keep up with some of the smaller requests. Make it quick. If I had time for idle gossip, I wouldn't be seeking your assistance in the first place. You'll have to speak to someone else. My office is always open if you have something important to bring to my attention. Sorry, what were we talking about? Much as I prefer the direct solution to dealing with a problem, I've learned that science has a different set of needs. Or I've been made to believe as much. It's not my place to tell the researchers here how to conduct themselves. Unfortunately. I appreciate you assisting with my actual responsibility, which is keeping them all safe. That said, I also sympathize with your skepticism. This isn't a trivial matter. Report back when you have an update. That's good to hear. She's an invaluable asset to the vault. What exactly was happening over there? Do not allow her demeanor to deceive you. She's one of the brightest minds we have at Vault 63, which is saying quite a lot. But that aside, she isn't the easiest to communicate or reason with, as I'm sure you've noticed. Maybe dangle something shiny to get her attention, or claim you've made a brilliant discovery back at the vault. That might do it. Honestly, I'm not sure I expected anything more. I'll have to confer with Hilda when she returns. Hopefully she isn't doing anything to endanger us. Reckless. Perhaps a necessary step in seeking a cure, but to do so alone, with the region in the state it is. Well, it's good you were able to arrive there before she'd gotten herself killed. My bar for questionable has been raised quite high in my time here. Care to elaborate? To be frank, you are among the few here that I believe I can share this information with. Though I suppose that's not saying much. I have not been entirely honest about my role here. Not to you, nor other members of the Vault, Hugo included. I am Lieutenant Colonel James T. Oberlin, United States Army. Actively, not formally. I remain in contact with him to this day. It's a lot to take in, but don't dally. This is important. I suspect that's for good reason. There's much about how we operate that civilians aren't privy to. And like I said, for good reason. Very well. I'll be waiting. Please, head to the drop site at High Knob Tower out west. Look for Daniel, and any signs of the report. I'm counting on you. Originally, I was to oversee a government-funded weather research project, one that was shut down and then ultimately scooped up by Mr. Stoltz. While I was never exactly an expert on the subject, Mr. Stoltz found my experience with the project important for the transition. That project led to the development of this very Vault's weather machine, and ultimately our current predicament. I have remained in contact with my associates in the Army ever since, reporting the good and the bad. You're more capable than I had assumed. I'll make sure you're suitably rewarded for your effort. Take a moment to dust yourself off, but report back to me soon. I have another job for you. This one's a bit more delicate than the others. You're dismissed. Very well. Looks like I may have to check in with our custodian Johnny later. He usually hears a thing or two, though I'd much rather people come to me than having to resort to gossip mills. I don't think I need to remind you lives are at risk. Use the security card I gave you to gain access to the organic sector. You can reach it through a cave system to the south of here. Once there, find Hilda and find a way to get her safely back to the vault. Do you need more information? May I remind you, her life is at stake here. That's where you come in. We need you to head surface side and run the experiment for us. We've set up a number of devices that can simulate the effects of, We've been repairing and adjusting the machine to potentially complete the Lost's transformation, using that monster upstairs as a template. Why waste our time on this? We just need to see the effects of the new configuration. We think the reason is because he was the one to push the big button, so to speak. He made direct contact with the device. The electricity spread out from him, almost like a conduit. And you, get back here ASAP. Over and out. The risk is high, but the reward is too great to ignore. And we may have a missing piece now, for an extra edge. Audrey, we've got a problem. The bastard is gone. That bastard. He isn't planning to fix them. He's planning to bring them under his control. Sleazy Vault-Tec scum. I knew it! I'm bringing him into custody. Now! Let me see Hugo's. Dear Lord. It's not just that. They're mirroring it, following it. Almost like puppets on strings. God have mercy on us all if it can't. Great. Now we know the thing that was bound to fail will fail. On to the next device. Over and out. We're going to be overseeing a final experiment that could alter the future of this vault. He's not just a liar. He's a killer, Audrey. Believe me, I know, but we are so close now. Think of all the people we can help if we manage to find a solution. I will personally hold him accountable once things are settled, but we need to cooperate for now. You fool. Stay there. We may be able to extract more from him while he's still... Wait, Audrey, what are you doing? I'm sure it feels like he got off easy, but I assure you that's not the case. He's sedated for now, and still recovering from that proper ass-whooping you provided. But once he wakes up, the time for rest is over. The research begins. He's the key to solving the Lost, and we'll see to it that he remains a silent contributor. Do the right thing. What are you doing? Are you crazy? You can't help him! Don't. That's exactly how he's manipulated us for years. His mask's off now. He's got no hold over us anymore. Thank you. Oh, he will pay. But his life alone isn't worth what he owes. No, wait. We need to discuss what you'll do when you get there. I'll be brief. I need him alive. Don't even think about it! We need Hugo alive! You hear me? There's only one place. He's likely to reach the meteorology sector any minute now, up at the Hawksbill weather station. Audrey already left to try and stop him, but even with Cassidy, he's gotten too much of a head start. What's the status? We're not vomiting up electricity, so that's a promising sign. Wait, we still haven't gotten to him yet? Pick up the pace. We've got to hurry. If only. Listen up. Well, look, we're not evil, so no promises. Couldn't have said it better myself. You're deranged if you think anything like that matters now. Survival here in Shenandoah is all we have left. There's no more time for this. Damn right he did. He brought this on himself. What do you mean, kill him? Are you crazy? No, we need him alive. And a fine job at that. We need him breathing if we want to learn more about this affliction. It'd be years of research lost. You've been a good soldier for us. I'm glad we put our trust in you. Yep, you're one of the good ones, all right. No doubt about it. I'm just glad we're on the same team. Hate to go toe-to-toe with someone like you. Hard to believe you're the same wisecracking outsider from when we first met. I had my share of doubts about you. Okay, I thought you were hopeless. But you came through for us. I'm proud to have served beside you. Good. 63's construction had fallen behind due to its lofty and ambitious size. This left our population exposed to extreme levels of radioactive fallout after the bombs fell. Those of us that survived the exposure ended up like this. But working with us so-called ghouls won't be a problem, will it? Mr. Stoltz buzzed me ahead of your arrival and filled me in on the situation. Sorry for the test, but wanted to see how you'd present yourself. I appreciate your attempt to take this seriously, but I won't say I don't have my doubts. Let's see how this plays out, though. Here's my status report for Mr. Stoltz. You're dismissed, unless you have other questions. Cute. Yes, significant damage to the tram tunnels that once connected the various research sectors of this vault. Additionally, damage to the manor grounds directly above have caused some structural integrity issues with the atrium. Perhaps most concerning, though, is the various exposed entrances to the vault spread throughout the region. This has led to an increase in the number of lost now on the surface, which isn't good for anyone involved. Our facility houses a large-scale weather control device. Some decades ago, an accident rendered it inoperable. However, a recent event has led to its reactivation. With that, we have the storm, along with other unexpected outcomes. One of our top priorities is bringing it back under our control. Did you really think that would work? Our records tell a different story about 76's overseer. Maybe you deserve half credit for being upfront about the vault part, though. No. That's going on your record, and I'm not a Marine. Just get out of my sight. You do seem fit to fight, at least. But that's not really an answer to my question. I won't fault you for a lie by omission, though. You seem eager and able enough. I've already been made aware that you're a dweller from Vault 76. That is correct to a degree. Mr. Stoltz had been afflicted during the same accident that created the Lost. However, he retains his sanity and his ability to communicate. Well, retain sanity is perhaps a bit. Actually, I apologize. This isn't water cooler gossip. I believe I've answered your question. Mr. Stoltz can explain the rest. And what's that? The U.S. Armed Forces always have contingencies planned. We're prepared for all eventualities. Even if not everyone were able to make it, there were plans in place to get personnel of every level to a safe location. They'll be finalizing preparations for operations to regroup and rebuild across the country. About as well as can be expected. I'll be putting a team together soon to clear the rest of those blood eagles you dealt with and get some payback for what they did to Daniel. Not long after news of the bombs, it became clear that we'd been exposed to very high radiation levels. Despite how remote we were from a drop site, rapid hair loss, vomiting up blood, and skin burning to a literal crisp became the norm. Our numbers dropped rapidly. Many didn't survive long. But those that did began to adapt, stabilize. Life carried on, for a time. Thank you. Let me know if there's anything else. If you can, keep an eye on Stoltz for me. I'm sure he has requests for you, and I want to know what he's up to. Your lack of faith in the military is disturbing, though unsurprising given the recovery operations may not have begun yet. Before the bombs, we were a collection of the best researchers, security officers, and construction personnel one could imagine. We're now a fraction of that. A mixture of the best and brightest, being asked to do more than their fair share to survive. I took over the role of Chief Army Scientific Advisor from Major Bentley, when he was deemed unfit for the role. Through my management, the program got back on schedule, and we started to see results. Not that it mattered in the end. I know Audrey and Stoltz aren't on good terms right now, though I haven't been able to determine why. Still, I recognize that look behind Audrey's eyes. It's only a matter of time before she snaps. Me? I'm nothing special. Spent some time in the military, then found myself with a gig here, as Chief of Security. Then the bombs came and, well, here we are. I'm going to assume that this is a poor attempt at humor to lighten the mood, and politely ask you to stop. Very few people know Cassidy is still in the vault, let alone where she is. Please, keep it to yourself for now. We don't want any unnecessary fuss. Or was there something else? As I understand it, our vault's makeup is atypical from your standard operation, largely due to Mr. Stoltz's ambitious approach of its construction. Intending to begin its research even before the bombs fell, residents, scientists, and engineers began moving into the region, even as construction was underway. Mr. Stoltz's intention was for the construction team to onboard as maintenance and security once the project had been completed. This would allow for full operations even during peace times. But, well, construction fell behind as the scope of the vault ever increased. You've perhaps heard the specifics before, but we wound up vulnerable to drafts of fallout when the bombs did finally fall. I can't say that I do, but I imagine you're about to tell me. About as well as can be expected. I just need to prepare for what may come next. Seems Hilda is working on something that she'll need my help with. A plan to help restore some sanity to the lost. What did you want to know? What do you need? Is there anything else? Maybe, in the future. I hold out hope they're still out there. For now, we've got more immediate fish to fry. But who knows? There's plenty of military facilities in this region. May be able to find an ally hidden among them. Where were we? Oh, yes. How can I help you? Sorry, I have to deal with this. Could you come back later? Please, continue. As if things weren't bad enough. Now I have to keep an eye on an outsider. What are you planning, Stoltz? Hopefully Daniel will report in soon. Maybe I can dig up some information on the rest of Appalachia. Could prove useful. I'll have to keep an eye on Audrey. I think the stress of everything is getting to her. If I hadn't already lost my hair, I'd be tearing it out right now. Margaret says the outsider has been earning their keep. Maybe they'll be good to have around after all. It's never an easy thing to do to put someone out of their misery. Glad the outsider was there to help. I still can't believe Hilda just left like that without an escort. She could have gotten herself killed. Why would he do that? A way to contain the lost and use them to power the vault. This could be the answer we need. Now that Stoltz isn't breathing down my neck about trivial things, maybe I can focus on dealing with the lost. I'm so sorry, Daniel. I just need to find proof. Then I can finally deal with that egotistical bastard. The lost, the storm, falling nukes, and now blood eagles. Seems like we'll need allies if we make contact with others outside the vault. Just how far did they go to cover up scandals? What else have they done? Audrey is trying to fix the weather machine? Hasn't that thing caused enough trouble? Another complaint about Audrey snapping at someone? I'll have to keep an eye on this. Storm is taking a while to dissipate. Maybe we should look at getting that machine back up and running after all. Hugo still hasn't said much, but he will. We have all the time in the world. Audrey's pretty angry at what happened, but she'll come around. I'm not her father. She's free to choose her own path. Even after everything that's happened, there's no time to slow down. It's time to start making changes around here. No clearance! Are you one of them? Why did it like this? Is this real? Move along, Phantom, move. All right, then. Fort Atlas. Not the Atlas Observatory. Move along. Is there a reason you're loitering in my office? I believe Mr. Stoltz wanted to see you, so you'll be with us for a while. Try not to get underfoot. I've got my eye on you, outsider. It may not seem like much, but your help has been invaluable to us. Thank you. It's good to have someone reliable to count on again. Maybe now we can start fixing things around here. Oh, welcome back. How can I help? Much as I hate to admit it, I'm not sure I could have managed without your help. Thank you. Glad Hilda is back safely. Hopefully her research will be just what we need. You've been a greater asset than I could have asked for. I'm in your debt. I've sent out another report to my contacts. Hopefully we'll hear something back from them soon. It may take some time before things are in order again, but I'll make sure this place is safe for the people living here. Did something happen? Or are you just dropping by? I need to get this place back into shape. Find us a new purpose. But first, cleaning up Stoltz's mess. Curse him! Curse him! For everything! He won't stop me now. Won't let him. What is this? The shadows, always watching me. Protected everyone. Useless. Audrey and I returned her to her room, where she will be kept under observation. If well behaved, Hugo may be permitted opportunities to see her again. I doubt that will be for quite some time. Just another in a list of his dirty schemes. Stoltz isn't talking, but it's not as if that's unexpected. It's only a matter of time until we get some useful information from him. Hopefully, we can right the wrongs he was involved with. Crazy indeed. Where do I start? Got a list of things to address as long as Skyline Drive. Thanks. We'll be sure to reach out if anything comes of our research. This is only the beginning. It will take some time for things to settle down. Not right now, but we might in the future. I need intel. I need to know we can have a friendly relationship with whoever's out there. I can't risk our security on a whim. Even reaching out to the army could have dire consequences for us. Been expecting you. That's more like it. I see. So those are the rumors going around. I appreciate your honesty, and you were able to dispose of them. Interesting. Must mean you have some combat training. That could be helpful. I will indeed continue to be this way. Thank you. I understand you value your time. However, I currently do not. Handle this for me and we can discuss fish of all sizes. There's no need to be rude. Still, you've helped clear up some issues. The least I can do is give you something for helping us. I'm sure you'll put it to good use. Don't take too long. First, your reward. I'll arrange for something from our armory. I'm sure you'll find a good use for it in the future. Thank you. The drop is located at High Knob Tower along the western perimeter of the park. We haven't had trouble with that location so far, but there is a chance that the Lost have overrun it, or potentially some other party, drawn in by the allure of the storm. Either way, you're going in blind. Be prepared for the worst. Information on the weather machine, the storm, the Lost, and Mr. Stoltz's recent activities. If things continue to accelerate as they are, I may end up requesting additional support. It's imperative they be made aware of what's happening. Are you ready? Thanks to the flesh of that madman, loath as I am to say it. Move along, Phantom! Move! Curse him! Curse him! For everything! He won't stop me now! Won't let him! What is this? The shadows, always watching me. Protected everyone. Useless. If he wasn't the solution to all this, I'd have put him in a body bag myself. He should feel lucky that he's valuable enough to keep alive. Expect resistance, but remember, bring him in alive. Dismissed. The weather machine was already set to the parameters we just tested. This was a final trial run before the real deal. We can discuss our terrible choices later. We have to act now. Dear God, move, Audrey! We have to get up there! Here's the sit-rep. Good, you're here. The situation has developed and we're short on time. Time for chatter is over. Get going, now. You did a hell of a good job back there. I knew you'd do the right thing. This was a test, and you just failed it. Mr. Stoltz buzzed me ahead of your arrival. vault dweller from 76, capable of dispatching Lost, and apparently a clown. Listen, I know a dog and pony show when I see one. I couldn't talk Mr. Stoltz out of this if I tried. Take my status report and run along. We'll be working together soon. So I expect that attitude of yours to shape up. Dismissed. Unless there's any pressing questions that need answering. I'll take that stolen valor as a joke so I can save the trouble of laying you out. But watch it. Is that so? That's fine. What is it? I'm afraid that's outside your clearance level. Classified. I'm asking the questions, outsider. We can address your queries once I've completed my interview. Now again, how did you end up here? I suppose we shall. Our former friends, family, neighbors. An accident some decade back led to their creation. Their condition is irreversible. Beyond that, I'll leave it to Mr. Stoltz's discretion on further details. Just know, they will kill you on sight without mercy. Communication is impossible. Do not hesitate to strike first. When the earthquake hit and the storm took shape, we were informed of a surge of energy near the proper entrance to the vault, back up north. This likely resulted in the security door being propelled some great distance. How? Yes, I do. How do you know about the Atlas Project? Now please, tell me about Fort Atlas. My leadership got Atlas funded. Dr. Hammond was a genius, but he had issues with authority. He had issues with Bentley, too. I sometimes wonder if it was Bentley who was really the problem. Anything else you need? He's a businessman with a lot of connections and a lot more ambition. So far, he's the only one to come back relatively unscathed from the accident. Static disposition aside, there's something off about him lately. I just haven't been able to figure out what. I told you the military always has a contingency plan. Unless they aren't military, I'd better be cautious before making contact. It's impossible to know who they are or how much has changed. It's worth investigating. Could even be worth establishing contact. All right, then. Oh, I know so. The U.S. Armed Forces are a well-oiled machine. Hugo's brother. Seemed like a decent man, but looks can be deceiving. He was well respected in his field. Biologist, I think. He butted heads with Hugo a few times, but mostly went along with Hugo's decisions. While it's not the life I envisioned for myself, it's been surprisingly pleasant for the most part. Present conditions aside, it's only really been the last decade or so when things have really begun to fall apart. It's a mixed bag. Office politics and all that. I'm sure the rumor mill is already running rampant. Just one more thing to deal with. With any luck, the research Hilda has been working on can be put to good use. If nothing else, it will be a good starting point for future research. And if they can't be fixed, well, maybe Hugo could still be useful to us after all. Where to start? What was he thinking with his asinine plan back at the lab? What he planned to do with the weather machine? The original purpose of this vault? What do you need, friend? Thank you for your help. Now that Stoltz's mad scheme has been dealt with, I can focus on fixing things around here. Unusual for those three not to gossip with everyone they meet. Then again, you are a stranger. I'm sure I'll have more for you to do soon. If you're sticking around a while. Well, color me surprised. Good work. With that out of the way, I'll be able to focus on the more important matters, like dealing with the chaos going on outside of this vault. I don't suppose that those three had anything interesting to say while you were helping them? Find Margaret, Lawrence, and Julio in the residential area. They'll have something for you to do. You're back. I hope you have good news for me. Another rat in the race. Perfect, just what I needed. No wonder Mr. Stoltz was interested. Oberlin Report S-487. Internal issues. As well as the concerns raised previously, there have been several new complaints that have been added to the list. We're doing what we can, but we're having to prioritize and we're spread thin. External issues. Scouts report the storm is growing. The eye of the storm seems to be above the manor. Land outside the manor seems to be severely damaged. Unsure if it's the storm or something else that caused it. Strange things are happening to the flora outside. The area around the manor is effectively a dead zone. Areas nearby seem to be corrupted. Other issues. An alarm was tripped in one of the locked-off sections and was cut shortly after. Doesn't seem like it was the Lost that tripped it. Monitoring the situation. Oberlin, out. James T. Oberlin, Chief of Security, Vault 63, formerly United States Army. Ordinarily, an outsider would report directly to the security offices. But as you've seen, Mr. Stoltz isn't fond of ordinary. How exactly did you end up on our doorstep, outsider? Point taken. Very well. The residents here are still a bit shaken up by recent events. And some less than recent events, for that matter. I'd recommend a light touch. You're not here to babysit. But there's also no need to be resistant to their requests. And unless Mr. Stoltz himself walks in here and says otherwise, I'm not at liberty to disclose anything further. There are 3 residents that have been complaining about a myriad of concerns. Margaret, Lawrence, and Julio. Your best bet is to track them down. They're likely lounging about waiting for someone else to handle the hard work. They should have more than enough to keep you busy for the time being. Report back when it's been handled. In the meantime, I have other matters I need to attend to, so please, if you'd excuse me. They are vocal. They'll be more than happy to provide details on themselves. Let me know when you've had a chance to investigate. I'll be here in the meantime, dealing with all this. Still, it can be hard for people to know who to trust. But enough about that. Now that you've helped me out, is there anything I can help you with? Thank you for seeing this through. I'm not sure how I'll break the news of Daniel's death to the crew. He was loved by all. I have no further assignments. I'm sure there's others that could use your assistance as well. Thank you again for your effort. Dismissed. After all this time, it takes someone from outside this vault to finally tell me the goddamn truth. Thank you, my friend. It's very upsetting. I'm glad I have you to rely on. I'm gonna kill that. No, not yet. Not now. I can't give him the opportunity to turn this around on me. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I need time to make sense of this. It's best that Hugo remain unaware that I've been shown the truth. Not until I'm ready to act. I will allow him to think he retains control. You've earned a reward for your effort and honesty. I will let you know if and when I decide to act on this revelation. For now, I wait. Be careful with who you place your trust in down here. It's a viper's den. Dismissed. Damn it all to hell. Daniel, the rest of them, leading me on like some child playing make-believe. And Stoltz, that arrogant, slimy bastard. I knew I couldn't trust him. I should have followed my gut from the start. No, Daniel is part of the security crew hired by Mr. Stoltz, but he is still a member of my team. While I wasn't able to select my team personally, I have come to trust each and every one of them. It pains me not knowing Daniel's condition. Go ahead. I hope these questions were relevant. I cannot stress enough the importance of this task. Very well. Make sure you're prepared when you return. We don't know what the full situation is. Thank you. I'll see what supplies I can get together for you upon successful completion. Locating Daniel is the top priority, along with the report he had on him. If necessary, investigate the drop site as well. You'll find a terminal there that's been used for filing the encrypted reports. It'd be good to know if it's still in working condition. You can send the report along yourself, if Daniel was unable to, if you feel inclined to help. I appreciate this, outsider. No, friend. A good man's life may be in your hands. Godspeed. Dismissed. You're serious? That arrogant sleazeball! No clearance! Are you one of them? Why did it like this? Is this real? Good. He's still breathing. Hurry up and power down that machine. We'll come retrieve him when it's safe. We've discovered that Hugo didn't leave alone. He's taken Cassidy with him. That can only mean one thing. He's going to activate the weather machine already. Bastard. This experiment was just to distract us. He already had all the pieces he needed. It's all right. I got her. She's been subdued. I'll head to deal with Hugo shortly. You head back to the atrium. We'll talk more there. In the meantime, we'll sort out the mess the sorry SOB left us. So rest easy. But, look. I can't give you a Medal of Honor. Don't have one to give. But I would, if I could. This goes without saying, but you've more than earned my respect. I hope that means something to you. Don't go turning into a stranger, all right? That's an order. Soldier, you know your orders. Do not let emotion guide you. We need him alive. Audrey, stop! Put it down, now! A number. An earthquake for one. A series of unidentified electromagnetic events for another. Well, considering I'm entirely lacking any sort of credentials or background on you, perhaps you can fill me in on your history. Fine. It's only fair that you're briefed on our situation. Understood. Anything else? At least you're honest. Fine. We believe they possess the ability to channel electricity from the storm, though we're still not sure how. Perhaps consider rubber gloves next time you want to shake their hands. Again, the rest is classified. And yet you ended up here. That's good. Means you can follow orders. I say jump, you say how high. Interesting. Were these different times, I'd be tempted to weaponize such a thing. My office is always open if you have something important to bring to my attention. The bombs did drop suddenly, and the wasteland is a dangerous place. It is possible that not all of them may have survived. No, they must have. At this point, I think it's worth a shot. I've warned her to be more careful going forward, though. Can't take unnecessary risks when there's so few of us left. There's always something that needs doing here. Anything else? I'll put it this way. She's a lot smarter than she acts. She's unpredictable, difficult to follow in conversation, but ultimately reliable. She gets results. I'm sure if you want to ask her, she'll tell you. She's friendly enough. I was surprised she was related to Hugo. My last orders were to continue sending reports on progress of the projects here and report any suspicious behavior from anyone. It was before the recent chaos. Yes, as a Vault Dweller yourself, I imagine you've some insight to Vault-Tech's scrutiny in controlling the design and deployment of its property. I am not privy to all the details, and those I am privy to, I'm not at liberty to discuss. It's possible Mr. Stoltz would be willing to share more details on that. The Vault's true purpose and the reason for its unusual design are, as the adage goes, above my pay grade. Observation, mostly. I was trusted with everyone's safety. Being security chief meant I had access to everything. I had ears everywhere, from maintenance to top brass. I was to report everything to my superiors at the Capitol. That was the order anyway. My office is always open. After everything you've done, well, you're one of us now. Maybe she's hoping fixing the machine will revert the storm that's gone wild. Or maybe Stoltz has her convinced it's more important than she thinks. Either way, I have concerns about Audrey's obsession with the weather machine. It reminds me of someone I worked with before. A long time ago. All right, then. No, they didn't. Although the project was classified, and they likely haven't recovered the area yet. Best to ask him that yourself. I'm his chief of security, not his secretary. Who do you want to know about? I look forward to hearing your report. Nothing too personal, I hope. Fort Atlas! Not the Atlas Observatory? With luck, it will disappear on its own without the machine powering it. I'll ask Audrey if she wouldn't mind keeping an eye on it. That remains to be seen. For all his faults, he's still a person. I believe he should pay for what he did, but I can't be the one to decide his punishment. For now, though, he could still be useful. That's up to her. I told her I wouldn't hold it against her that she tried to shoot me. Many lives have been lost in our time here. Hopefully she's willing to help look after what's left. I suspect her mother alone may be reason enough for her to stay, but she is free to leave if she wishes to do so. Selfishly, I hope she's willing to support us here in the years to come. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome here. Deadly serious. The world's gone to hell in a handbasket. We need all the protection we can get. Things are going as well as they can be. I couldn't have done it without your help. Is there anything in particular you wanted to ask? I honestly don't know. Hugo's ability to control them, and even resist the adverse effects himself, are our only clue. Maybe a cure isn't the answer. Maybe Hugo had the right plan with the wrong priority. Being able to harness that power for ourselves, just like Hugo? If we can't find a cure, maybe that's the answer. That's untapped potential. That's, well, that's the thing. Been digging through the bastard's files, and it turns out he'd been playing me the whole time. Those reports went nowhere. Can hardly say I'm surprised after everything he pulled. To go so far to deceive me. Bastard's sick. What do you need? Good. I'll share what I can. which isn't much. You know, I gotta polish that egg. It's looking a little dingy.
Don't touch my egg.